Getting this going, let's go ahead and get into some J&A Sideline Report topics.
Every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball,
I'm gonna go ahead. I got your stream on. The volume stuff is good. It's kind of echoing in my ears.
Yeah, you can turn it down.
Yeah.
It's so close. He gets it to the one.
All right, so first topic we want to get on is let's talk about
Throwing his hurts.
touchdown first. Let's talk about quarterback watch. What quarterbacks? What are the quarterbacks that we want to watch going into this season? It could be rookies. It could be.
Oh, that was a nice rollout. Was that like an intentional rollout on that?
Yeah, this play. This is like my glitchy zone red zone play.
I like that because Jalen Hurts automatically rolling out.
So he gets the touchdown and the two-point conversion.
He's play action for or something. But yeah, so what quarterbacks should we be watching this year? What quarterbacks are the quarterbacks to watch?
And not much of
We're
an
gonna have a hot season. Do we expect to have a good season, or who are we just watching to see if they fail?
I think we start off rookies first, right? I think everybody's kind of excited to see Shedeur and what's going to happen with that situation. Especially with all the quarterbacks being injured, the way that he looked pretty good in that preseason start. Another quarterback, obviously, one that I don't think is getting enough recognition. Number 1 overall pick is Cam Ward. Interested to see what he does with Tennessee. And then as far as veterans go, I feel like Patrick Mahomes is kind of getting disrespected a little bit. I mean, just look at this game and everything going on. So, interested to see him, and then I really want to see how Stafford does with the Rams. Those are kind of the ones that I'm looking at.
It's interesting you mentioned Stafford because I know, at least right now, he's nursing an injury, which is why Jared Goff is over. Garoppolo's over there as backup, which is funny because if you go back and listen to the commentary of Devontae Adams, one of the Rams' newest receivers, he was talking about how Garoppolo's passes are going to get him killed out there when he was mic'd up on the sideline, and he was not very happy.
That's with the Raiders, huh?
Yeah, that's when he was with the Raiders, and he was not very happy with Garoppolo, and so he left, and it's funny enough, now he's back with the same quarterback, so that's going to be interesting to see. And like I said, as of right now, Stafford's still nursing an injury. I'm not sure if he's going to be ready by week 1, but it's going to be interesting to see the chemistry there, if at all, between Devontae Adams and Garoppolo, and if he still feels the same way, because he definitely did talk a lot of trash about Garoppolo on his way out, and being one of the reasons why he wanted to leave, period. So that's going to be interesting dynamic. Shedeur for sure. I definitely don't think he's going to be starting week 1, especially, they got Flacco on the roster, so I expect Flacco to start. I know they're interested in trading at least one of those quarterbacks before season starts. Right now, my guess is if I had to put money on it, I'd probably say Dylan Gabriel, only because his recent training camp play hasn't been the greatest. It's been pretty decent, but it hasn't been the greatest. And now he's also kind of nursing an injury. So I'm assuming if he doesn't kind of get any action, now that we only have a 3-game preseason, if he doesn't get much action in these upcoming weeks, I feel like he's going to be the first one on the chopping block. Matter of fact, I did see teams are already acquiring about him. So.
I would have thought, that would have been Pickett just because of age. Flacco, I think everybody kind of knows what he is. He's kind of like a stopgap right now. And then Shedeur, like I said, I kind of agree. I don't think he's going to start probably week 1, but it was weird because he even saw Huntley right there, right? And he said he might have not had physical already. So now they have 5 quarterbacks on their roster, essentially. It's just there's just too much going on in Cleveland, but yeah.
I think one of the reasons why they added Huntley is because they do have so many quarterbacks injured on the roster, and let's say like if Huntley wasn't on the roster, Shedeur would have had to play that entire preseason game. They didn't have a backup quarterback that was ready to play. All of them were nursing injuries. And then, like I said, you still got Deshaun Watson over there. They're still kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. But he's still on the roster, coming back from ACL. torn ACL.
I completely forgot about him.
Yeah,
Completely
so
forgot about him.
it's a little hard to completely forget about him because that man's worth about $230 million. So the Browns definitely never forgot about him because he's taking up a lot of their payroll. But yeah, and I think the reason
I understand people on your bench taking out money. You know
yeah, Kirk over there. But I definitely think one of the reasons why Pickett's not on the block is because he's only on a 1-year deal. So they may be looking at it as we just don't have to re-sign him next year, but we got a free year with him, keep him on the roster. Maybe they like him. I mean, it's really difficult to say, but he does bring a Super Bowl veteranship since he was on the Eagles Super Bowl team. So, I'm assuming they're looking at that also as one of the reasons to keep him. But Flacco and Pickett are both on 1-year contracts, so I feel like Gabriel really is the only one. If they want to keep Shedeur,
was Pickett? Pickett was the backup for the Eagles last year?
Yeah, he was Jalen Hurts' backup last year. So
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
well, like I said, I wanted to keep it kind of short, but talking about the Eagles, like Jalen Hurts isn't getting any love either. Like I feel like a lot of people are kind of discrediting him as a Super Bowl quarterback.
Definitely, I would agree with that. And one of the reasons I've been hearing is because they're saying like they're kind of knocking him for being quote unquote like maybe a game manager, or they're trying to say with the talent he has on his team, he should be performing that well. But like I feel like it's almost maybe a step up from the Joe Flacco situation when he was with the Ravens when they won that Super Bowl. A lot of people didn't really feel like Joe Flacco had much to do with it because that defense was amazing. So Eagles defense was also amazing in the Super Bowl. I mean, they pretty much held the Chiefs to like very minimal points, which is very unusual for Mahomes
and Andy Reid.
Yeah, then they're just building a whole Georgia D line. Their entire line is just Georgia, so we know where they're getting their recruits from. So. But yeah, moving forward, let's get into some predictions on division winners. You being a Falcons fan, let's go ahead and start in the NFC South with your best unbiased opinion. Who do you think?
So I'm saying now I'm going to be biased because you're asking me, like, you know what I mean?
Who do you think is going to come out on top
South, there? If I had to pick one day one, it's obviously I think Tampa Bay is probably the front runner to win it, just because even with Godwin out, they got can't say the guy's name, Ohio State receiver.
Mekaba, yeah.
Yeah, they got McMillan, they got Evans, they got a good offense, they got a good defense. I would say we're probably next up. Just the thing being, like I said, just the whole new defensive line that we got. Seeing who's going to be number 2 corner over there and just kind of seeing how Penix plays. He only had 3 games in. Obviously, it was nice, but he was still one of 2 in those games. So just kind of seeing how that goes. And then I think New Orleans, I honestly think they're taking for Archie, bro. Like, I think it just kind of fits with his grandfather, right? Is a great Saint.
Yeah, Archie Manning. Yeah, and speaking of his grandfather, he's already went on record, and because they interviewed him last week, and he's already also admitted that Archie's not coming out this year. He's gonna stay in Texas for at least 2 years. So, and that's kind of been the running theme for I've been hearing, but also the running meme I've been hearing from the Saints and the Colts. So like, don't worry, we'll be back next year too, so we're gonna get you regardless. So especially him being a Louisiana native and the fact that his grandfather played for the Saints, I definitely think they're gunning for him. I don't really believe that they believe in Tyler Show as much as people wanted to say they would. I think one of the reasons they didn't take Shedeur Sanders is because he definitely probably would be their franchise quarterback. Whereas Tyler Show, they don't really believe him anyway, so they're like, well, we get him. If he has a bad year, we're not really missing out because we want to tank for Archie anyway. So, which is the reason I feel like they didn't really extend Derek Carr, because Derek Carr would still at least be a good bridge quarterback. Like, outside of injury, Derek Carr is still pretty good.
Yeah, the receiving core was banged up last year. I actually like the receiving with Shaheed and Olave, but losing the Honey Badger, their defense is a lot older. Kamara's older, like you said, no real quarterback over there. I just feel like they're going to be worse, and I honestly like what Carolina's kind of doing. Their head coach was the offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay. He's pretty good. Bryce Young had a nice second half of the season. I like their young receivers. I like their running backs. They're building a defense again. So yeah, I think if you look at NFC South, it's probably Tampa Bay, Atlanta, then Carolina, New Orleans. NFC South.
Moving on to the NFC East, I'll give my take first since I am a Cowboys fan. That's my division. As much as I really love the additions we made in the offseason, especially getting Pickens, we have a true number 1/number 2 receiver with CeeDee Lamb, so I definitely think that's going to take a lot of pressure off for CeeDee Lamb. My thing is Dak going to perform in the playoffs? Like we've shown, and he's shown to me as a Cowboys fan, it's almost like a replay of when we had Tony Romo. Tony Romo was amazing in the regular season. He had like the greatest completion percentage. He was hitting all the numbers, breaking records, and as far as passing yards. But when we got to the postseason, when it actually mattered, he just didn't show up. And Dak Prescott's kind of been the same way. He's had a ton of weapons already, and I just don't feel like, for me, I don't really care too much about what we do in the regular season. I feel like, we have a strong chance to make the playoffs. As far as division winners, I think right now Eagles are the obvious favorite. And the Commanders, they did a really good job bringing in some even more pieces. They brought in Deebo Samuels, even though they're having some contract disputes with Scary Terry. I think they probably might get a deal done, but he's right now requested a trade, so that's going to be interesting to see how that plays off. Obviously, speaking of trade requests, Micah Parsons made a trade request. I'm not buying it. I think he's kind of doing the same thing that Myles Garrett did when he was up for a contract, requested a trade, but he was just playing hardball, so the Browns would sign him. I kind of feel the same way. I'm just really hoping, especially because as a Cowboys fan, if we lose Micah Parsons, it's going to be ugly in my opinion. But I would have to say in order of division winner, I'd say right now the favorites would be Eagles, Commanders, then I'd put us in there, and I'd put Giants last. Even though Giants have a lot of good young pieces, Abdul Carter's looking freakishly in the preseason. I mean, the guy really looks like the next second coming of Micah Parsons. Even Micah Parsons has admitted himself that he's probably going to be the next guy up. Another Penn State buddy, so they just be hyping up his other alumni. But I think so far he's kind of looked like the truth. He was destroying offensive linemen, and they're already double teaming and chipping him in the preseason. So that's usually a pretty good sign. Like that guy's kind of a big. What do you think about the
I agree with your order. I'm not sure. I feel like if the McLaurin thing doesn't get addressed, which I think is funny because every receiving core that Deebo Samuel comes on, the actual receiver doesn't want to be there anymore. When you think of
like
Ayuk and now McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for me, I think if they can't get that addressed, I do think that the Cowboys, is that on paper right now, you guys' defense, outside, you're going to have Parsons this year regardless, right? So with Overshown being able to come back, your DB's able to come back, and then adding Pickens is going to be absolutely huge for Lamb and for your quarterback and everything. So I think I agree with the order. I just think the Eagles are the favorites in general to win the Super Bowl. I mean, that team is super young. They have everybody coming back.
They got better somehow.
Honestly, why you get the Jahad Campbell last pick of the draft in the first round? Like, that's just ridiculous. And that's the position you literally needed, was a middle linebacker, and you get the best one. But I mean, for me also too, it's like with the Giants, interesting to see if Russell Wilson can hang on to the job, because Jackson Dart did look actually kind of good yesterday also. So, or at least in his preseason game. So for me, I think that their defense on the Giants is going to be a lot better than people expect, because like you said, a lot of young talent over there. I'm not sold on Abdul Carter yet, right? Preseason, he wasn't playing the ones and twos, but having a guy like Brian Burns, and I'm pretty sure they still have Thibodeau, right?
Yep, so they still have Dexter Lawrence in the middle. Best tackle in football right now.
Yeah, they have Okereke at linebacker. They just a lot of young talent on that defense. So, I mean, it might surprise some people, but I agree with the order for sure.
Moving on to, let's go into staying on the NFC. Let's go to the NFC West, where we have the Niners, Seahawks, the Rams, and Cardinals. Yep.
Yeah. See, this is the interesting one to me, based off of like what you said, right? I honestly do not think that the Niners are the best in their division anymore. I would give that to the Rams, but that's obviously if Stafford is starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they were able to do with the defense last year, losing all those players, and then obviously what they're still able to do on offense because of McVay, because of Stafford, the running back has become one of the best in the league. Now you add a Devontae Adams, you still have a Puka Nacua, who I don't know why he's getting all this love as a top 10 guy. I think he's really good, but the man can't stay healthy. So outside of
1 year,
injury,
he only got hurt
every year he's been banged up, bro. Like outside his rookie year, so last year he was banged up really bad. Even his rookie year, he missed some games. I think you lose a Cooper Kupp, but you bring in a Devontae Adams. It's kind of like a wash, right? And then for me,
so you're saying you think that's a worse? You think they downgraded by taking Adams, or you think it's just an even trade?
I said wash like it's even. Yeah,
okay,
I don't think you lose anything or gain anything really. I think Cooper Kupp was severely underrated last year, and he was a little banged up. And I can't remember. I got to look up who he went to, but I think Cooper Kupp is still going to be solid. Devontae Adams is obviously better. Yeah, Cooper Kupp's going to be solid there. So same division, right? That's probably why he did it. But I would pick right now, if I had to pick, I would pick the Niners because of Stafford's injury. And Purdy just got paid, right? So let's see if Purdy's worth the money. And also, is CMC going to come back as CMC, or is he kind of done? That's going to be really crucial for them too. They got a lot younger on the defensive side, and they also got their old defensive coordinator back, right? So I think that's going to help the defense instead of hurting it. So if I had to pick right now, outside of injury, I would pick the Niners first, and then when Stafford becomes healthy, I'll probably put the Rams first. So they're like 1A, 1B for me, and then I have Cardinals is the last, and Seahawks is the third best team in that division.
Like that, I would have to say I'm definitely going to agree with 49ers. In my opinion, that's the best chance. And the reason I say that is because the 49ers also have the easiest schedule in the league. They do the poll, and they play against the most under 500 teams this year than any other team. So they're kind of already favored just simply based off of their schedule. So I think when you add in the fact that they locked in their franchise quarterback, Brandon Ayuk's coming back healthy, you got CMC coming back healthy, you still got Juwan Jennings, who really showed that he could play despite the injuries of Brandon Ayuk, and even when Deebo Samuel was going down for some weeks, Juwan Jennings really stepped up and showed that he's a great wide receiver 2, potentially wide receiver 3. So I think if he hasn't gotten paid already, I think he's also up for being paid soon. So he may get similar money to T. Higgins, probably like I'd say about 5 to 10 mil less maybe, but yeah, he's definitely due for a payday. Seahawks, I mean, I believe in their receiving core with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and they got Cooper Kupp. But I want to say the starting quarterback over there right now is it Jalen Milroe, or is it Sam Darnold? I think they signed Sam Darnold, I believe.
I have to believe it's Darnold.
Yeah, and he just got paid, so I can't imagine they wouldn't start him after they just paid him. But they do like what they see in you. I mean, the kid's got like an arm straight cannon. I mean, I'd say his arm is even sharper than like Josh Allen, which is pretty crazy to say, because Josh Allen he lives and dies by his arm. That's why he does a lot of interceptions, because he could just sling it. Sometimes he gets in a lot of trouble, but Miro definitely looks like similar as far as arm strength goes and talent. So it's going to be interesting to see how long Sam Darnold kind of holds that starting position. I think they like where they're at as far as, we got Sam Darnold, who played really well with some great receivers, and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and so we feel like we have somewhat comparable receivers in Jackson Smith and Jigba. We got a young guy, and then we got Cooper Kupp, a proven Triple Crown winner. So I think they like their chances of winning that division. Their defense still is really good. They got Devin Witherspoon at corner, who's really solid. Their D lineman, matter of fact, they actually brought back one of the twins. I think Shaquille Griffin, that was a corner for them. I think they brought him back this year, so I definitely think that they feel like they have a strong chance. Once again, like I said, the Niners do have an easier schedule. And then the Cardinals, I still believe my boy MHJ, even though Kyler Murray did not look good in the preseason game. The interception he threw, it was, I don't know what the man was seeing. I don't know if he still was playing COD and thought he saw something he didn't, or what the case was. But I'm really hoping for my boy MHJ to have a breakout year, which means I need Kyler Murray to kind of actually be good. So really tough to say there. There's a lot more questions and answers when it comes to the Cardinals. And then finally the Rams. getting Devontae Adams, he's kind of like Mike Evans to me. Like, it doesn't matter how old these guys are, their route running is still elite. They still put guys on, tape as far as getting open. I mean, those guys are just elite route runners. So getting someone like that to replace like a Cooper Kupp, I feel like I agree with what you said as far as a watch. You just traded one elite route runner for another. I mean, you definitely have a bigger body with Devontae Adams, so you can go up and get those jump balls more than like a Cooper Kupp can. And then you still got your star, Puka Nacua, which is essentially like, probably in their opinion, their better version of Cooper Kupp. So I think they like the additions they made. Their defense did get a couple upgrades. Nothing really for me to kind of spout about. Jared Verse had a really great rookie season, so looking for him to follow that up this sophomore year on the D-line. Outside of that, though, I still believe the Niners are just way too talented. And then for our final NFC division, the NFC North, so we've got the Lions, Bears, Packers, and Vikings. What do you think about that?
I think it's easily the Lions division to lose, right? I think the Lions got hurt by the injury bug super late in the season. I feel like they had a great chance to actually be in the Super Bowl and win it. I think they lost only one game in the regular season, right? Even though they had all those injuries late in the year. The Vikings, I think they're going to take a step back. I want to say they're going to be third in the division this year because I think the Packers, Jordan Love had kind of a down year. I don't see that happening twice. I like the Matthew Golden, the receiver addition. I mean, they're just loaded in the skill position in Green Bay. Losing Jair Alexander, but I don't really think that the defense is going to miss too much with that. He wasn't really playing that much anyways. Like, he was always injured. But I expect a bounce back year for Jordan Love. He played through injuries. I think the Lions, once healthy, they're a top 3 team in my opinion, just in the NFL period. I think the Vikings are talented. I love their coach. I love what he's been doing with quarterbacks lately. I'm interested to see what he does with McCarthy. But just having that unknown of McCarthy, I did see him in the first preseason game. A lot of passes behind. Jordan Addison seems to be his favorite target, which is crazy when you have Justin Jefferson on the team.
Did Justin Jefferson play the same amount of snaps that game, though? I can't imagine. Did he suit up?
They both played two. They both played 2 series together. And even in preseason, in the training camp, Jordan Addison's been his favorite target. That's what they're saying around camp. Which again is crazy. You have literally number 1 or 2 not best receiver in the league.
Yeah, I think he kind of knows that he can get the ball to Justin Jefferson, so maybe he has more of a bond with the younger receiver in Jordan Addison, and maybe he's trying to build that. I mean, because when you have an elite receiver like Justin Jefferson, I don't really think you need to build too much chemistry. The guy's just going to always be open. So
that might be the case. Like I said, for me, it's Lions, then definitely Green Bay, then I think Minnesota and Chicago. I mean, Caleb Williams is already not getting along with his new offense coordinator. Coach who was offense coordinator for the Lions. I mean, Caleb Williams at this point, to me, I know his stats don't look super crazy. He definitely wasn't worth the first round pick. Number 1 overall pick, in my opinion. I mean, and it's showing. We'll see this year because, again, he has ample talent, offense and defense. They've done a great job. They spent a lot of money. I mean, Chicago's it's not like they're not trying. They definitely didn't do any of this for Justin Fields, but they're going all out for Caleb Williams. So at this point, I think it's kind of on him. And I haven't seen anything or heard anything in training camp or in preseason so far to think like he's going to have a turnaround. Like we talked about MHJ, like I think he's getting too much hate for his actual quarterback and his system as opposed to his play. Caleb Williams, I think he's just getting he's not understanding the offense, the defense. He's not understanding the offense that he's running. He's trying to live too much off of his athleticism, and it's not college anymore. So I definitely think they're going to be worse in the division again, which is crazy. A lot of people are picking them to actually make the playoffs, but I just can't see it.
And I think one of the reasons a lot of people are picking them to make the playoffs is because the talent that they have over there is, I mean, it's just amazing. I mean, Rome Odunze really showed out. You still got DJ Moore over there. Even though you lost Keenan Allen, I mean, you just lost the veteran presence, but your young guys are obviously going to be able to tote. You still got DeAndre Swift there as running back. I believe they still have Khalil Herbert. I don't think he left. So, I mean, that guy's already been.
And you got Cole Kmet at tight end. And they just got the dude from Michigan,
Colston Loveland, right? Yeah, they got Colston Loveland. at tight end. So, I mean, offensively, they look amazing. Defensively, they still have, in my opinion, the most underrated cornerback in Jalen Johnson. I definitely don't feel like he gets enough respect. Maybe it's because he plays for the Bears, but I feel like people really overlook him. I would say Jalen Johnson, in my opinion, is definitely top 5. Maybe you can even argue maybe he slips in that top 3. Like for me, PS2 for the Broncos is definitely number 1. I know a lot of people are saying Christian Gonzalez at like number 2. I don't know. Sauce Gardner for me, I feel like he gave up a little bit more this season than his previous year. But with him getting paid, I'm expecting big things. But I still think Sauce Gardner is still a top 3. So, I mean, if I had to go in order, maybe I would say PS2, maybe Christian Gonzalez, and then Sauce Gardner. And then I feel like Jalen Johnson's right there. Like, I feel like you can't go too many more spots. Yeah, I mean, do you feel like any other corners maybe would take that? Like, you feel like maybe Jair Alexander or... Jalen Ramsey. I mean, when Jalen Ramsey's healthy, we can't count that guy out.
I think he's gonna be more of a hybrid, but I agree with the list. I mean, my opinion, like I said, I do think Chris Gonzalez is another nice off topic, not same division, but he was another guy. He's underrated because he plays on a bad defense, and with the Bears, it wasn't a bad defense; it's just a bad team.
Yeah.
So like that's why Jalen Johnson didn't get the love he deserved, but absolutely top 4, like no question. Ray Lewis needs to stop his city. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a beast. All right, moving on to the AFC, and we'll close this podcast out with the last few divisions. Let's go with the AFC East, where we have the Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and the New England Patriots. What are we expecting out of this?
This division outside of the Bills is really, in my opinion, bad. But I think because of all, like Tua with the Dolphins, and I just think Tyreek Hill is just a dysfunctional person that's ruining the entire team. You never know if Tua's going to stay healthy, right? I saw Ewers, he had a really bad preseason, hasn't had a great training camp, so even as backups, they're not looking great. New England, I really liked what I saw out of Drake May last year, even though they were a bad team. I like a lot of the rookies that they brought in. I like that they have Vrabel back in the building. I feel like they didn't give Jarrod Mayo the chance he deserved, but I think it was a smart move getting Vrabel in there. New York, I kind of still believe in Justin Fields, and I like that he's with his college teammate Garrett Wilson. Obviously, they have 2 good backs. Very underwhelming, the New York Jets last year. I think a lot of people expected them to be in the playoffs. So for me, obviously, I think Bills win this division pretty easily. And then honestly, I'm picking New England as the number 2 team here. Because again, I think the dysfunction out there in Miami, Tyreek Hill is definitely not making it easy. And I just never can trust the health of Tua. I don't think Tua is a bad quarterback. I just can't trust his health. So if it was me, I would be Bills, Patriots, then I would go Dolphins and Jets. And I think Dolphins and Jets kind of like maybe 5-win teams. Yeah, I think the division overall is kind of bad.
Yeah, a lot of points there. For me, obviously, like I said, Bills are the favorites. I mean, that team is, we saw what Josh Allen was able to do when his best receiver was Keon Coleman, which didn't really play that well, but still, like, Khalil Shakur too. I definitely don't think Khalil Shakur is the number 1. I think he's better. He's a number 2, maybe even slot, but I don't think you could plug Shakir in on any team. He's just starting. But Josh Allen has proved he's a beast. The defense is great. They're well coached. So yeah, obvious number 1 team for me over there. Dolphins, even despite of, I don't want to really call Tyreek a cancer, but he definitely, I think with him thinking he was leaving, he didn't kind of represent himself very well on his last few weeks, and now that he's still kind of stuck with the team.
He's kind of gone back on it too, though, a little bit, huh? He's like, keep fluctuating whether he wants to be there.
Yeah, I think he kind of understands he has to be there now. Like there's no out for him, so I think he's just more kind of accepting it. And with that, with him accepting it, he's trying to get back in the good graces of the team. But I respect Tua for his honesty. He kind of, when he had a press conference and they asked him about it, he said, well, yeah, right now he wasn't the greatest teammate, and so he has a lot of trust to make up back for it. So I liked his honesty in his answer. I definitely think that he has a lot to do, but they still do have Jalen Waddle over there. Jalen Waddle's already a proven receiver. He just really, his biggest issue is just kind of staying on the field, staying healthy. But I think when you got a guy like Jalen Waddle, you got Devin Achin coming off another great year. I mean, that guy is just looking better and better each year. Yeah, I feel like they still have the weapons. I know a lot of trust has been lost with Mike McDaniel, so I'm kind of interested to see how the dynamic is because I feel like he's kind of lost the locker room a bit. So he's not kind of touted as that same genius as they held him at before, like kind of compared to like a Sean McVay, or was it Sean McVay? Shane McVay? Sean McVay, right?
Yeah, Sean McVay. But I think
Yeah.
in his defense, though, not to cut you off again, it's
Go
just
ahead.
his quarterbacks have been hurt. So I feel
True.
like, he's had to completely change, like when he had Huntley and things like that. Like when he's been able to have even Tua in there, the offense is extremely good. Also defensively, they've lost, like, remember when they traded for Bradley Chubb? He hasn't really been able to be healthy for them.
No.
But luckily they got Chop Robinson. But yeah, that's pretty much. I was just gonna defend him for that because I think McDaniel's still a great mind. But yeah, I totally understand. They are kind of not like, oh, you're not maybe the guru we thought. But I think in perspective, you need to understand he hasn't had this quarterback.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I definitely think that
Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. Yeah, that's a crazy pull. I definitely think.
Byard, he's on the Bears.
Yeah, Kevin Byard. There we go. I don't think he really game planned for Tua getting hurt, and so I definitely believe he had to change a lot of the offense once Tua went down. Because I mean the game plan was pretty much built around him. I mean, comparing more so schemes, obviously not the players because they're not in the same realm, but like I mean that's as if the Ravens had lost like a Lamar Jackson. I mean, like you could have a great backup, but like the game plan's for Lamar Jackson, so you have to kind of change a lot of things when he goes down. So I feel like
loses their starting quarterback, it's just hard to recover.
Oh, 100%, especially if you don't have like I mean, heck, we've had Cooper Rush for the longest. He's finally off of our team, but the Cowboys have Cooper Rush, and he's been like a really great backup for us. He's been able to bridge the gap when Dak had to recover. But it's really hard to have guys like that. Same thing with, like, I believe Jameis Winston. As much as he gets memed on, I believe Jameis Winston's a very elite and great backup. He helps his teams a lot kind of stay afloat, stay alive. So I definitely I think it's definitely important to have a veteran backup. So that's kind of important. But yeah, I if in order just to kind of wrap this AFC East up, I definitely say I'd put Bills. I like Patriots. I like their young running back Trevion Henderson. I mean, that guy had a great preseason game. I mean, that guy looks explosive, strong. I mean, there's just not enough great things I could say about him. So, I mean, Patriots they've had a history of having like some really good backs, and especially the way they use them. So, I'd have to say I'd go Bills, Patriots, Jets, and I'm gonna have to say Dolphins last just because of the dysfunction. But yeah, that's my take on the AFC East. Moving to the AFC West, we have the Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, and Raiders. What do we think about this division?
I think it's easy. Raiders are last, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
They have the worst team. I mean, even though they have Geno Smith, like I think Pete Carroll is going to change that program. I just don't think that it's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen right away. I like Geno too as a player. I think that it's just not enough, right? And like you talked about before, outside of this podcast, it's like I like Ashton Gianti, but I just don't think the offensive line is very good. I don't think the skill position is very good. Defensively, I think they're better than people think. But I think it's going to take a little bit. Obviously, in this division, it's Kansas City. Until somebody can beat Kansas City, Denver came on strong last year. I think it's great for Kansas City that they lost because, like I said, people are talking like Patrick Mahomes isn't even – I mean, look at Madden, right? He's the fourth best player in Madden. I'm like, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, at the end of the day, it's Patrick Mahomes, bro.
True.
And it's Andy Reid. So, for me, clear Chiefs, Broncos – Sean Payton has done a great job. Bo Nix, honestly, I'm gonna be completely honest. He definitely played way better than I expected because he was on so many different college teams. I did not think he was a great player, and he made me a believer. And like when I saw him, I love the fact that he got back on Sean Payton. He's not scared to let him know, like, hey. Whatever, like the conversations they had, I think they were healthy and respectful because Sean Payton, like, right, Russell Wilson we talked about earlier, he disrespected Russell Wilson, and the rookie was like, I'm not gonna have that. You know what I mean? Like, I like that a lot.
He stepped up for himself.
But Yeah, and then just their defense. I mean, the Benito, somebody who just came out of nowhere. The defensive line was really good. The pressure they put on, obviously PS2 was Defensive Player of the Year last year. It's kind of debatable, but even he's best corner in the league. That's not debatable. And
Uh-huh.
Moss, his opposite corner guy, he's actually pretty good. Doesn't get a lot of love probably because he's a white corner,
Mm-hmm.
but he's really good. And they lost Justin Simmons, and I feel like their safeties played well. So overall, I really think that the Broncos are really good. So I think it would be Chiefs, Broncos,
We're
and then
really writing off
Chargers.
Harbaugh and those Chargers, huh? Against the Broncos?
I am because I think that the Broncos, how do you win in the NFL, right? It's going to be defense. That's how the Eagles, like we talked about, they dominated the Chiefs. And that pass rush that the Broncos have with that secondary, it's going to be really hard to beat. And the fact that, yeah, I do like Amari and Hampton, I think it's a nice pickup for them. But I have to see it for a second year to like see how that defense improves. Justin Herbert, I think Lad McConkey was great. Getting Keenan Allen back, that might help a little bit. But I mean, the Broncos played so well last year. I just feel like they're only going to get better. They're super young, and I think they have the quarterback that they want too. As great as we love Herbo, I mean, Bo Nix played really well, and I got to give him his credit. I got to give that defensive line their credit. And then, yeah, I think the Raiders are just once again in the lottery and hopefully getting the quarterback because as much as I like Geno, he's definitely not the answer.
Okay, I can see that. For me, I definitely would have to go with obviously the Chiefs number one. Like until they're actually beaten, and that team is there's no Mahomes, no Andy Reid on there. You can't bet against the Chiefs. I mean, literally, you can't bet against the Chiefs. I mean, I think last year proved that with the refs and the takes. I mean, there's no winning against the Chiefs when the league wants them to win. Outside of that, I do have the Chargers over the Broncos. I believe they have a better coach. Harbaugh literally has been a proven winner everywhere he's gone. He's turned every franchise around that he's been to. I mean, he's a proven. Uh, he's got a national championship under his belt. He's been to the Super Bowl with the Niners. I mean, he took that Colin Kaepernick Niners team to the bowl. I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's just been a proven winner. And matter of fact, he improved the defense of the Chargers last year, and that's with a Joey Bosa that's kind of in and out of injury every year. So you still got Khalil Mack, who's been just really productive every single year. I mean, he doesn't look like he's even slowing down. I think he only had like maybe 8 sacks, less than his last team's sacks. Everywhere Khalil Mack's gone, he's still gotten like 30 plus sacks on each team he's been in. So. I definitely think a second year with Jay Herbo, especially they run the ball a lot, so Herbert's not required to do as much to win. I mean, we saw what Harbaugh was able to do with McCarthy, and McCarthy was essentially like, I mean, everyone can pretty much agree he was a game manager for Michigan. They ran the ball a lot. They only required McCarthy to throw the ball for like maybe big downs and whatnot, but yeah, they didn't. He didn't need to win the game. He just didn't need to lose the game. And I feel like you have a much better quarterback in Herbo who can win the game and win it outright. And then you have a young, great receiver who had a great rookie year, Lad McConkey. You bring Keenan Allen back over, who I'm sure he loves to play in for the Chargers. Uh, oh, it looks like I got disconnected for a second. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you good now.
Okay. Let me. I'm losing. Let me make sure I get reconnected back here before I continue. I did lose connection for a half a second. 1 second.
Looks like your stream is good. Everything
Okay.
on this, yeah. I can see you out of center again, and it kind of paused a little bit. Now we're loading again.
Yeah. It's fixing itself. I'm still on drop frame. Let's see.
Ethan Posich. Oh,
Okay.
then now
Reconnection
just said that the stream
successful.
has ended.
Yeah, it should
Let's
be
see.
coming back up now. Let me refresh it here. Oh, nice. Couple cards already sold. God, that wasn't in game during that though. Showing port no connection detected. Still unstable.
I can see the stream again. Looks like you're in home screen.
Mm-hmm.
Just saw the rewards.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're back up and running. Yeah, it's showing me green on my end, so I think they give it like probably another minute. It should be smooth again.
Okay.
Let me refresh
I
it
can
real
see
quick.
you kind of moving the screen. Looks like you're in.
Yeah, I'm in my items, but I can't see my items, which is funny. But let's see.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I
now
see
it's back to
that.
excellent. Okay. But yeah, finishing off with the AFC West. Like I said, I just feel like with John Harbaugh being a proven winner, Justin Herbert being a great quarterback, I would have the Chiefs there, the Chargers, then I'd go Broncos, and obviously Raiders. Raiders just have too many holes. They have a lot to prove. I mean, yeah, they got SG&T, but I feel like they shouldn't have drafted him, especially since that offensive line is completely garbage. Getting a running back, I mean, it even showed in the preseason. He had 3 carries for like negative yards, just because not due to really to him, and so line didn't give him any blocks. So, yeah, moving on to the last two divisions, we'll start with the AFC North, where we have the Bengals, the Browns, Ravens, and Steelers. Pretty jam-packed division there.
Yeah, good division. I think again it's going to be the Ravens at the top. Lamar Jackson got to win a championship though. At least make it to the Super Bowl. It's been too many years now. We're waiting on him to win Super Bowls, even though I feel like he should have won the MVP over Allen last year.
Mm-hmm.
Still can't keep losing the first game or even second game in the playoffs. Now that you even have another veteran receiver in Hopkins, they gave you Henry last year. Get a Jairi Alexander. I mean, they're doing everything they can to make sure that this Ravens team can make it to the promised land, and he's way too good to keep losing in the playoffs. So still gonna have him number one though. And honestly, I'm going to put the Steelers number two because who's going to play defense on for the Cincinnati Bengals? Like I don't. They
Well,
still
they're
don't
having a lot of
have.
problems. They actually signed their rookie finally, Shamar Stewart, and he
Oh,
immediately
he
looked
did
like he's
sign.
a
Okay.
threat. Yeah, he immediately looks like a threat, but they still haven't signed Henderson. Even though I did hear he actually reported to training camp, but I think they still haven't got a deal done with him.
Yeah, so even with that, I mean, I just feel like they don't have enough on defense. So for me, I'm picking the Steelers because I think even losing Minka Fitzpatrick, it sounds to me because they have
Jalen
Joey Porter
Ramsey.
Jr., they got Slay. I think Ramsey's going to play more of a hybrid and could potentially just play safety this year, which I think would kind of replace losing.
Minka. Mm-hmm.
A Minka and then adding a Jonnu Smith. Even though I hate Arthur Smith because he was my head coach, he did have a good season with Jonnu Smith in
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee and in Atlanta. Obviously, I really like the rookie running back Caleb Johnson a lot,
Yeah.
and I think Rodgers should at least bring some stability. Metcalf over there is nice. So for me, I think Steelers number two. I put Bengals at three, and then the Browns just because I don't like we talked about. I don't think they're going to play Shador week one. I think if Shador was in there, they might be in the mix because that team I think is kind of loaded, right? Like defensively, they have a lot of good pieces.
I mean, Miles
Offensively, I
Garrett
think they
starting,
have.
Denzel Ward. Yeah.
Yeah, I still believe in Grant Delpit. I don't think he's a total bust. I think he's still a solid player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they have good
Jeremiah
linebackers in the
Wilson did get
Wosu.
hurt though. Yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah. So I mean, even still, like everybody gets hurt at this point sometime in the season. So they got good, decent depth. I like Njoku over there. Receiver wise, we'll see what Judy looks like, but I just think like the quarterback position is what's going to hold them back. Plus, I think, like I said, it's going to be a little dysfunction there. So they're definitely going to be the bottom for me. And like I said, the Bengals, last year they scored a lot of points, right? Last year Joe Burrow did great. Jamar Chase was the Triple Crown winner. T. Higgins had a great season, even though he's always injured. And they just couldn't stop anybody. So I don't see that changing.
Great. Yeah, for me, I'd definitely say Ravens are the favorite. I mean, they just keep getting better somehow. They drafted amazing by getting Watts over there at safety to pair with Kyle Hamilton. Um, their D line with Matabuke is amazing. I mean, uh, getting Jair Alexander over there at corner to go with who they got over there. I mean, I don't, somehow that team just continues to get better every year. Derrick
They
Henry is
got
still
they
a
got
monster.
Humphrey and they got freaking Wiggins and then you
Yeah,
met
Anthony
Malachi
Nate Wiggins,
Starks
Malachi Starks. Yeah,
at
not
safety.
Xavier Watts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
And then get
they've made a lot of great additions to the draft, to the offseason, so I'm definitely expecting big things from them as the clear number one favorite there. And yeah, Lamar Jackson does have to prove. Like, I feel like he's already shown regular season he can do it. He's multi MVP. We already know he's talented, so now we just need to see him go that much further in the playoffs. And yeah, at this point, he's got to make a Super Bowl. At least get to the championship game. I know it's not the easy beating a Josh Allen or beating a Patrick Mahomes, but if he wants to be considered one of the greats, I mean, he's got to eventually beat those guys. Especially with, I mean, he's getting all the talent on his team. So I mean, he's got really nothing to complain for. The team, literally the whole staff has built the team around him. So I mean, they're doing everything they can to put him in a position of success. So yeah, he's the favorite for me. I like even though the Steelers did make great additions, and their defense is crazy. I mean, we talked about a lot of guys. We didn't even talk about their number one defensive player in T.J. Watt. I mean, with that guy healthy, I mean, yeah, he's one of the top 3 pass rushers in the game. So like, I mean, I always believe in the defensive first. So I think I would have the Steelers with a slight edge over the Bengals just because, yeah, the Bengals, even though they had the highest passing yards with Burrow, most touchdowns, and the Triple Crown winner Jamar Chase, they still didn't even make the playoffs, which, like I said, really kind of proves my point where, I mean, defense just kind of wins championships. So, it's like, yeah, they did great on offense, but with shoddy defense, it just didn't matter. So, I definitely think until they get, even though they got Shamar Stewart over there, until they get Henderson back in the roster, and they really got to upgrade that secondary because they're getting sacks. I mean, Henderson still was getting plenty of sacks, but I mean, it didn't change the fact that they were still getting, Burrow was having to put up 3-4 touchdowns a game because his team is giving up like on average 21, 28 points a game. So I'm definitely got Steelers over Bengals, and yeah, Browns are just a big question mark. They don't even know who their franchise quarterback is. They don't know who they're going to keep between Gabriel, Shador, and maybe even Pickett in the mix. I mean, Flacco's obviously just the bridge. And they still, when Deshaun Watson gets healthy, I mean, are they going to give him another chance? There's just way too many questions over there. The only thing that's not a question is Myles Garrett. The guy's amazing. Denzel Ward's still a great corner. So I think, they're not going to be in the talks for doing something for a while, at least for another year or so. But yeah. And then final division, we have the AFC South to wrap us up. We have the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans, and the Tennessee Titans. What do we think about this division?
I think it's pretty similar to the East, right? I think it's the Houston Texans division to lose, obviously. They had a bunch of injuries, especially to skill position players. C.J. Stroud, people were saying he had an off year, but I just feel like all his kind of playmakers went down, so I don't really want to say he had an off year. I love what DeMarco Ryans has been able to do in the 2 years that he's been there with C.J. Stroud. And I expect when Nico Collins comes back, Tank Dell, I mean, they're going to be great. I expect C.J. Stroud to be another at least top 8, top 10 quarterback, like he's proven since he came into the league. After the Texans, though, I'm kind of interested because it sounds kind of funny, but like since Richardson put the goggles on, right? Like all of a sudden he looks like he's an accurate quarterback, and with the physical traits that he has, and like we talked about, even like one of your Texas boys over there,
And Eddie Mitchell.
what was his name? Is A.D. Mitchell. I love JT, right? I love the offensive lineman that the Colts have. I think their defense is kind of underrated. For me, I think the Colts and the Titans can make some noise. Because, again, I really like Cam Ward. I really love the defense in Tennessee, but I really like Cam Ward. I like some of the skill position players that he does have, 2 good running backs. Like we talked about earlier, I.O. Maynard, the rookie, him getting in sync already with Ridley. Their tight end, I can't say his name. It's kind of a long one and weird one, but, I mean, they've been waiting for him to break out, right? And they have a decent offensive line as well. So for me, interestingly enough, I think the Titans or the Colts are going to be second in that division. If I had to pick today, I would pick the Colts only because of JT and the defense and the offensive line. And unfortunately for Jacksonville, like Sunshine has not been him. Like I think Trevor Lawrence has been a complete bust at this point. And just in my opinion, I think they've made 1 playoff appearance. And you look at it now, they lost Evan Ingram, they lost Christian Kirk. BTJ is a beast. I like that. I really hope that they keep Travis Hunter primarily as a corner and put him in sub packages as a receiver, because I think as a corner that's where he's generational. As a receiver, he's okay, but I don't think that's the position he needs to kind of main. I would much rather see him at corner. Running back, I feel like they might already be done with ETN, and Bigsby might be the guy. And then just defensively, I just feel like they've been in transition ever since they lost Saxonville, right? So I think that team, for sure, right now, if I had to pick, is going to be the bottom of the division, but that, interesting enough, might be the most interesting to watch, because I think BTJ is obviously a rising star, and I think we're both in agreement. Like Travis Hunter is one of the best corners we've seen in a while. So that's what's going to make them fun to watch.
I definitely think, obviously, agreement with the Texans. It's their division to lose. I mean, C.J. Stroud has proven as a young quarterback, he's gotten his team to the playoffs back-to-back years, so he's way ahead of, even a guy like my favorite guy, Peyton Manning. I mean, Peyton Manning didn't make the playoffs until I think year 5. So, I mean, he's doing amazing things over there. Titans, even with Cam Ward being the #1 pick, I think, after a couple years, maybe they could be something. I don't feel like Calvin really is that guy anymore between him getting in trouble and staying on the field, having some problems. Even though I think Cam Ward and really have great chemistry, I mean, outside of Jeffrey Simmons on that defense, you got Harold Landry at linebacker. Not too sure any other big star names over there, but Titans really they have to show something.
They got Snead.
Oh, the Jerry Snead, from the Chiefs. So yeah, they do have a solid corner. But even with that, I mean, I feel like they're in a weak enough division to where they could compete. But I mean, there's just too many question marks over there. We're not even getting. I mean, Cam Ward hasn't even been getting the attention of a first overall pick. I mean, between Shador and Travis Hunter, they've been getting a lot more attention, which is kind of strange. Especially with Shador being a 5th-round pick, they tried to make it seem like they don't like him, but all of a sudden he's getting more attention than the first overall pick. So that's just a little weird, but. With the Jaguars, a full agreement. I feel like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he just got paid as like if he's an elite quarterback, but I mean, he hasn't really done much. He's got BTJ. I know the Jaguars right now, their priority is to have Travis Hunter be a receiver, and then they kind of mix him in as corner. So, I mean, he does look really great at receiver too. I mean, he's just one of those athletes where it's just like it doesn't really matter where you put him. He's just going to be elite. But I do agree, like he is more generational, I think, at corner, just because his athleticism is great, but his instincts are even better. Like a lot of the picks he made in Colorado, and I mean, even in preseason, the way he's been kind of locking down. I mean, even he's kind of locked down BTJ in some of those practices in training camp. Like he's just a fast, twitchy, great instinct type of player. So yeah, I would love to see him at corner more. I kind of agree with Devontae Adams though. Like, even though as much as he wants to play two ways, I don't think he can do it full time for the simple fact that when you play in the NFL, man, it's a lot different because teams are smarter. So like, let's say you're matched up against the Vikings, they're not gonna just allow you to just, play against Justin Jefferson when you're fresh. They're gonna put the 4th, 5th string receiver on you and have you running go routes all day, tire you out, and then now 6, 7 plays into the drive, now ask you to cover Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's already a problem to cover when you're fresh, but now trying to cover that guy when you're 6, 7 reps deep after just running go right after go route, not seeing any action. As I said, teams are a little bit too smart to kind of allow you to just do what you want. Even though you may be talented, you may say you don't get tired, I think the league is just a little bit too smart. Even with Dion, I mean, Dion's another one of those guys from the past where we've seen he's obviously generational talent. I mean, he could play multi-sports. I mean, he was just gifted athletically. His mindset was crazy. I mean, there just won't be another guy like Prime. But even Prime, when he was playing two ways, I mean, he played predominantly corner, and he played receiver a little bit. Like, he wasn't as good a receiver. He had, obviously, the athletic capability, and he had the stamina. But I think just playing two ways, especially in NFL, especially as much as, action you get between the hits, the wear and tear on your body, I feel like, yeah, he can get away with it in college. I mean, we've seen a lot of players kind of get away with that in college. A lot of players have played all the way from high school, middle school, to Pee Wee. They've all played both ways, and then when they had to go to college towards the end of their career, they kind of had to start honing down what position they're going to play, especially when they got to the NFL. So, I mean, heck, we even saw Terrell Pryor, who was, receiver, then quarterback, and then receiver again from college to the pros. So, it's just a lot to kind of ask out of a guy to play both ways in the league. So, but yeah, so I'd have to say, and then the Colts, I mean, as much as Anthony Richardson looks like he's accurate, after watching that preseason game, I mean, from the commentary, he pretty much had just a simple blitz sent at him, and he just got rocked. He didn't even see it. He had his check down open. He had his another underneath route open, but his eyes were just all the way down the field. And I feel like he's got that strong arm syndrome, kind of like Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't have it as worse. I think he's going to run out of it. He still makes some mistakes, but he understands to check it down or take off. Whereas I feel like Anthony Richardson, he just believes too heavily in his arm because he is a strong arm quarterback. but he's one of those that, like, he looks deep more than he actually looks underneath, and that gets him in trouble like it did last game where he just got screamed at and took a big shot. And it didn't really look good. When they zoomed in on him, his fingers were kind of doing that stuff like Tua was doing when he got hit. So really hoping for the best for that guy, especially since my boy A.D. Mitchell's over there. But I'd have to see Anthony Richardson actually perform because, I mean, he didn't really even do that great in college. So it's amazing to me he even went so high in the draft. And then in the pros, he's still, outside of like flashes of greatness with his arm, he hasn't really showed me much. So in order, I'm going to have to go Texans. I'd go Jags, and I mean, you could fight for third and fourth between the Colts and Titans. I might give Colts an edge just because their O-line is so solid. They do have JT, AD Mitchell over there. They got great receivers, and they do have some pretty decent defensive players. Titans are a complete mystery, so yeah, that's how we go with it. But great talk. We'll go ahead and pick this up next Monday. We'll have another preseason in the books. We'll catch up, and see how these rookies are doing. Seeing if we get some more reps. I heard Shedor's supposed to be getting some more reps. See if any starters are going to play. Since now we're not in a 4-game preseason anymore. It's now still getting used to that. We only have 3 games in the preseason, so going to be curious to see if some more teams start putting more of their starters in, so we can get kind of flashes and looks to see what the team's going to look like. Curious to see how Cam Ward looks, if he keeps progressing. What Anthony Richardson's going to like. A lot of questions, a lot to expect, but yeah, we'll pick this up next week, and see what's new in the NFL. Any closing remarks?
Unfortunately for me as a Falcons fan, we're not going to play any of our quarterbacks. So once again, we're just going to be ill prepared going into the season. But that's great.
No
And
Penix
then
play
outside
at
of
all?
that, yeah, no Penix, bro. They already let it be known. No Penix and no Kirko, which I just
Well,
I
I mean,
don't get
I
it.
can
Even
understand the no
even
Kirko,
Bijan and Algier didn't even play.
but
So I just, I don't get it. At least we got to see a lot of the rookies. I'm, like I said, more interested. This is usually where teams play the one quarter or the one half, right, with the starters. So that'll be cool to kind of see a little bit more, especially if Shedeur does get that second chance to go out there and play against some defensive ones. And then, like I said, I definitely want to see more of Cam Ward, but I think they might be a little hesitant because obviously he is the franchise, right? And I would like to see Jackson Dart, see if he can do it again. And then if Shu comes out and has another terrible week, then everybody knows that second round pick was just a waste.
yeah.
I do want to see Giante too get like a second chance at it, 'cause like you said, he didn't have a good outing. But yeah, just excited to see football. But I'm sure next week you'll probably want to talk also college football because we're a little closer to that one too, and
Yeah, we're
some
getting
big
there.
matchups in week 0. Yeah. So yeah, good talk, good talk. Like I said, it was hard for me to pick the Bucks over the Falcons. But I just had to be a realist.
Yeah. I mean, they got weapons and weapons. I mean, you got Mecba, Godwin, Evans. I mean, they're just.
And Baker's been really solid. Like,
he's been
real
renewed
solid.
since he's been over there. I mean, so yeah. But all right, yeah, like I said, we'll wrap this up. We'll catch you guys next week for some more podcast talk. We're gonna go ahead and transition. I'm gonna get some Mutt head-to-head in. Probably gonna be the last week I use this full team until